Hello and welcome to another update video about Bitcoin. We are on the daily time frame. Just a quick look at the daily chart here. Not really any changes on the daily chart. We're still holding that main support region here as highlighted between 50,670 and 61,760. This support area has, well, provided support for the last 3 months basically, and Bitcoin has not broken it. If we get another low, which is still possible because we haven't seen an impulsive upside reversal yet, then we should see the price test, maybe even briefly break that 50% retracement at 50,670. Look, it could be a test of 50k. You know, as long as it's not a sustained break. This is not an invalidation point. It's not a make or break point. As long as we only break it briefly and then it gives us a recovery, that's all fine. We cannot have a sustained break. If we get a sustained break, it opens the door to a lot of other scenarios, including, for example, a larger wave fall with support at 42.7k. But this would be the next best alternative. It would be a break of a support level on the daily, which means also other scenarios come into play, like a larger triangle pattern on the daily time frame. Just to give an example, it's possible that this fourth wave, which presumably finished in November 22 to finish the bear market, that this wave 4 is still unfolding. That's possible as a triangle, okay? And that could send us back to 30k, maybe even lower. A, B, C, D, E. I'm just pointing that out because fourth waves can be triangles. So there is a lot to consider if we break 50.6k pretty much. However, that's nothing new, right? I've been highlighting that support area for the last 3 months, and so far the market has failed to generate an impulsive upside reversal. I'm not bearish, no. But in the current region, I'm waiting, I'm watching for clear signals that we're turning back to the upside. I'm actually still bullish. This is still my working count, my working scenario. But it's quite interesting. I mean, I hope that narrative finally dies that the SPX and Bitcoin are correlating, because they are not. Just look at the SPX chart. I mean, because you don't see Bitcoin following through like the SPX at the moment. And just a side note. And what we want to see at some point is a break of that trend line. You know, that's what I'm watching for. That's a trend line on the daily. The RSI did break above the initial trend line on the daily, which is positive. However, the one here is more relevant. I could imagine it might break the one with the dotted, the dotted trend line could break when the red main trend line here on the daily chart is breaking as well. Could just provide an initial breakout signal, right? So let's go to the smaller time frame. So here we can see the 1 hour chart. Quick reminder, we are in this wave 4. Okay, maybe it's complete. Maybe we get one more low. That's what I just mentioned on the daily. We could get easily one more low in that 50.7k area, and test that level. I mean, the current main scenario, which is this larger wave 4, has space for one more low. The difference between the white micro count here, and I'm going to zoom in a minute and you see it a bit better, and the yellow one is that the yellow count allows for one more low. And in the white count, we've already bottomed in this larger fourth wave and we're now moving higher. Now, how do we know which one it is? Well, first of all, in that area, we've been watching for a bounce. And then we've been watching for a bounce here. And then we said, okay, let's see how the structure develops. If it's more looking like the white count, then we would like to see an impulse to the upside as for clarity. But it's not an impulse that has developed, okay? It could still form 5 waves, and I need to see a 5-wave pattern that initially breaks above resistance. I've got a resistance area here. 61.5k is the main level there. So I need to see it break minimally above that. Better would be a move to round about 64, 65k in 5 waves. Only if I get these 5 waves, I will, let's say, be able to confirm and also believe that we've actually bottomed. Until then, I maintain a very cautious stance, and my view is that we are rather in the yellow count, at least the current scenario, even if just for risk management purposes, makes me lean more towards the yellow count, which allows for one more low here on the 1 hour time frame of 30-minute chart. Why is that? Long story short, it has to do with the microstructure here. If we look at the move up, we know that sometimes crypto rallies, they start from very ugly structures. So it could be something more bullish. But until I get further evidence for that, I'm leaning towards the yellow count that allows for one more low. I'd rather let the market prove that it's not the yellow count. Because we have seen a 5-wave decline from yesterday's top. Okay, I have yesterday mentioned to you this resistance area, and the price has now moved into resistance. So I highlighted here this micro resistance area between 58,090 and 59k. The market might have formed a flat correction, which could be really complete, maybe a few more upside squiggles, but could be really complete. And all I'm doing now, I'm watching for a reaction. Now there's a clear resistance level at 59k, which shouldn't really be broken in this yellow count. And there is a real invalidation point at 59,530. Any break above 59,530 will clearly invalidate this yellow microstructure. But it wouldn't be bullish. I mean, it would just mean we maybe extend a bit higher in that B wave. As I said, I need to see a break above main resistance, 61,500 pretty much, to believe the white count more and to reduce the likelihood of the yellow count. This is simply a pivot at the moment where the market has a chance to deliver to the downside. You might argue, okay, if the bears fail here, it might be a little bit more bullish. Maybe. We've often had that where we had a bearish setup and then the bears failed and we used that as a signal to be more bullish. Because if the bears fail and they have a setup and they fail because we have 5 waves down, 3 waves up, yeah, I mean, it means the bulls don't want to give up, right? So they definitely drive the price higher. But either way, you know, we need that 5-wave move up as per the white count. And the white count can't be an impulse for various reasons. So it could only be a diagonal. I cannot trust diagonal patterns. That's very important. So these are the parameters to watch for today. Any break below the overnight low would be an indication that we've topped here. And that's a break below 57,110. That's my update about Bitcoin. Hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Also, make sure that you follow us on Instagram and Twitter for additional content. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.